name is Alan Chickering. I am from Austin, Texas, and I am inker on the Borderhounds comic book. Through the magic of the internet, it was kind of a perfect storm. A couple of writers, and they found an artist. They showed me Sajad's work. I thought it was fantastic. I wanted to jump in on this, and they made me audition just like they did every other artist in the book, and I happened to be the one that they chose. I always drew as a kid. In fact, I was ambidextrous right and left-handed as a child until it was beaten out of me by a Christian school. But basically, I've always drawn. I did attend college to learn the graphic arts. I was there for about a year and a half, 2 years, studying graphic arts. I also studied it throughout high school. The comic book thing is another love I've had ever since I was a child, so it just kind of made sense for me. If I was going to draw something, I wanted to draw some comic books. Growing up early on when I was a small child, I mean, it was Steve Ditko, and later it became John Byrne with the X-Men work. Beyond that, there was the big new wave of artists, Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane. There was a whole different breed of artists basically emerged in the mid to late 80s. I love their work. Now, the gentleman who got me started inking probably was Jimmy Palmiotti. He was the first person to actually show me all the tools that I would need to learn how to ink a comic book. And he was just a great guy and just really went out of his way to. I would say to me, it seems to be kind of a tale of bounty hunters traveling through the wastelands of hell, collecting lost souls and getting money for it. Of course, there's a lot more to the story than that, but that's your basic kind of premise, and there's much more going on than what first appears. Main characters, obviously Brimstone is the main guy. He's this super buff, archetypical superhero type guy, with the physique. He seems like he's a cool guy, and he's got his two somewhat more eccentric sidekicks. You have Luscious and Dog. Luscious is almost beyond description. That's something I think a person would have to actually see his look in the book to truly understand. Dog is kind of the cool cat. Kind of reminds me of he seems like I can't really describe it. Kind of he wears clothes kind of like Blade, but he's a Hispanic guy, and he's got the long ponytail, so maybe a little bit like Machete would be kind of a good way to think of Dog. I think just about everything about it. I mean, this isn't canned like most comic books seem to be. We didn't start this to make stellar sales. We didn't do it to sell 1 million copies. It was started because it was truly a great story. All of us are committed to it, and we're not rehashing anything, which I see a lot in comic books these days. It's not about zombies, it's not about vampires, and it's not about werewolves, which seems to be what I see most of these days. This is a truly original comic that has its own very interesting world and interesting characters that inhabit it. Currently we're working on an animated series and also a video game, and I'd certainly like to be walking down the street one day and see a couple of Hound comic t-shirts on some kids, people wearing our brand, and I think that would be the greatest thing in the world. Hey, this is Alan from Inker for the Borderhounds. Hit us up. We're located at Facebook/The Borderhounds, also www.theborderhounds.com. We're also available on Twitter. Just look us up.